Hi there, beer fans. Battle of Cambrai. This is a blonde beer. Battle of Cambrai is also a famous World War I battle. Now, tanks were in their infancy in 1917 when this battle happened, but they were shit. They were really shit. They weren't very good at all. They managed to make it to the front line. They broke down often, actually, in battle. They were bright, big, just hot engines that were just so inefficient. The terrain was shit. And most battles that had these tanks in just ended up in close quarter fighting, and many hundreds of soldiers were killed during these what were bloody battles. Herbert Henry Scaife was one of them, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Herbert Henry in a little while. Hello everybody, welcome to Andy's Beer Reviews. Yes, I found this beer. We went to pick up, I'll try and get it opened. We went to pick up my advent calendar. So I'll be doing day one in a little while of that one. But I just wanted to get this. I saw this beer there just on the shelf on its own. Carl at the House of Ales only got one of them, and I've bagged it. So really pleased about this. It is a French brewed blonde ale. Comes at 6% ABV. It's brewed by Brasserie La Choulette. I've probably pronounced that completely wrong, and I apologise to anybody in French that knows how it should be pronounced. Let's get it into a glass, shall we? See what it's like. I'm expecting it to be something a bit like. I'm expecting this to be a wheat beer. I'm expecting it to be something like a Leffy. Yeah. Something like a Leffy, but better is what I'm aiming for. See, look, one of these beers, I always pour these a bit too vigorously, knowing they're going to brew with a massive head. The artwork, whilst that's settling a little bit, so look at the artwork on there. Right, let's knock this back. Get the aroma. It's not going to get it through. Not getting much aroma from the head. It's building. Yeah, do you know what? It's subtle, which is all you want sometimes from these bottles. But these beers, you don't want them over the top. It's subtle. There's a little bit of fruitiness in there, a little bit of spice coming through. Yeah, do you know what? It smells all right. Let's taste it. Cheers, everybody. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's a good one, that one. That is nice. It's a good bit to tell a story with. And I've told you a bit of the story, haven't I, already, about Battle of Cambrai. So, Herbert Henry Scaife. Herbert Henry Scaife was my great-grandfather. He went to war, went to the First World War, and he didn't come back home. He was killed in action on the 27th of November 1917. So I wish I'd seen this last weekend. That would have been absolutely fantastic, but I didn't. Died in France at, I think it's called Boulogne-Wood, which is one of the battlefields at the Battle of Cambrai, but he was there defending and trying to get the things these kind of heroes in war do. So I think one of the things that, and his body never came home, so he's out there still somewhere, I'm guessing. Yeah, one of the strangest things about the whole thing, there's a couple of strange stories about this. One is I never knew about it's the side of the family, it's my paternal side of the family. We don't really talk to that side that much, although when I was growing up as a kid, I obviously knew my granddad and obviously my father and all his brothers and sisters. But people didn't talk about the war, and I never knew that my great-granddad was in World War I, died there. I didn't know any of that. It wasn't until my kids were up here once, or down here once, and they wanted to do something. They had a piece of homework on War Memorial. And I said, well, look, we got a War Memorial in the town where I live. We'll go and have a look at that and have a little, do some drawings, and we'll have a little write-up at that. And it wasn't until I saw that. I've lived in this area virtually all my life, and it wasn't until I saw that I realised that there was this H.H. Scaife on there, and that turned out to be Herbert Henry, my great-granddad. Never knew anything about him. He's won medals, never seen them. I want to try and get hold of them. Got one picture which I've already shown of Herbert. And for me, absolute star, absolute hero. So that's one strange thing, the one I didn't know about it until my girls had to do some homework. And secondly, it's bizarre to think that if he hadn't had my granddad before he went to war, I wouldn't be here now. And, you know, just these little fates of what happens in life are just absolutely phenomenal. So Herbert was part of Coyley, the King's Own Yorkshire Light Infantry. I don't think he was in the army long. I haven't seen much about him, but I kind of know brigade he was part of, and I think they spent a lot of time over here training, and then I think one day it seems like, I can't remember the dates now, but it seems like it was a month before he died. Decided, right, okay, we're shipping up, we're going to France, boys, and that's what happened. And you know, within a month, he wasn't coming back home. So you can see why I had to buy this beer. And I'm proud, you know, I'm proud of it. Proud of the beer. Proud of my great grandfather. Right, the beer itself. Let's stop all this stuff and start talking about the beer, shall we? It is really nice. It is Leffy like, but it is elevated a little bit in quality. You can tell. I bet this isn't a mass-produced beer. Honestly, I wish I'd found out a little bit more about it before I sat down, but I get the impression it's probably not. It does say Brasserie, it must be like Artisan La Choulette. So it's going to be a small macro or micro brewery in France. And I will find out a little bit more about it, see what other beers these guys do. I say it's Leffy like. I like a Leffy. If I find something that's similar to it, but better, I'll get it. The flavours are there, and I'll use the word subdued, and I don't mean that in a nasty way. I think sometimes beers like this, wheat beers, I do like wheat beers that are a little bit subdued. It's rich. I can feel it filling me up. So it's rich from that perspective. It's fruity. There's a nice little floralness coming through. There's a little bit of citrus. I'm getting a little bit of apple coming through as well. So it is kind of a fair bit of fruitiness coming through. There's a little hint of coriander, not a great deal. It's semi-sweet. It's really smooth. Little gentle bitterness at the back end. A little bit of fruitiness in that aftertaste. It's a really nice beer. It is a really nice beer. We've been to France, so it's called the Battle of. There's a number of battles, but Battle of Cambrai Cambrai. Sorry, Battle of Cambrai was the main one. We've been to Cambrai. His name's on a slab there. I think there's supposed to be like a little cemetery or some graves at Wall on Wood as well. And what we've said it we'll do one day, me and Sandy's Beer Reviews, is we'll go there and we'll get the proper guided tour of the battlefield, because I would be interested to know kind of from his perspective where he was. I've got a couple of books on it, and what I do keep meaning to do is just write down kind of his path and almost like a little diary entries. I'll do that one day, because I think there's something like that to pass on to the kids. I think will be great. So like I said, we're into France once. We will go again, and we'll do the proper battlefield tour and just find out a little bit more about what he put up with. It was November, so November in France back then. You're entering into like we have now. You know, it's colder, it's wetter. I don't think there was any snow from the accounts I've read. I don't think it was snowing at the time, but it had been bitterly cold and wet. And although he was killed in action, so one thing I don't understand, although he was killed in action, how come his body was never found as far as I'm aware? There's certainly no grave. Like I say, his name's just on a memorial in Cambrai. So I don't know what happens with that. It's horrible to think, I suppose, isn't it? That so in the battle, these people don't get interred. Is that the right term? So you just don't. Hopefully, he didn't suffer. I'm sure he didn't. It is a splendid beer, and it is a splendid beer to toast everybody in the armed forces, those that have not managed to get home, those that did come home, those being injured, everybody. This is for you guys. So a lot of you watching will have people that's been in the armed forces or probably still in the armed forces. This beer is for them. Let's remember them all. Let's spend few minutes just remembering these people and giving thanks. I don't like it. We've been to America. Oh, we do Disney and the shows and things like that. They always do a shout out to all the veterans, and I think that's wonderful. We don't do anything like that over here. We should do more of that stuff over here. I like it. It's very patriotic, very good. Right, good beer, fruity, citrus, some floral, some apple, a little bit of coriander in there. Lovely bits at the back end. It's refreshing. I'll use the word subtle, but I don't mean it in a bad way. It's a lovely, subtle beer, and I like it. Score-wise, I'm going to score it 8.5 out of 10. 8.5 out of 10 from Andy's Beer Reviews. If you've tried this, let me know your thoughts about it in comments, please. If you've lost anybody in one of the battles, just drop the name so we all remember. That's it. Until the next review, which will be my advent calendar opening. Enjoy beers. Cheers.